So welcome back to the Patok Show with me, Dominic George. We are speaking about matters entrepreneurship with my beautiful guest Angela Nzioki, and we're back. So we were speaking about you found a need, right? Just explain to us, or just go back to what you explained before we went for a break, and then so that we can be able to launch from there, and you can give maybe a few points, 2 pointers, someone who thinks about going in there. And by the way, plus people, how many people have you employed so far?
We are 5 on the team, so it's
Five.
still a very lean team. But then the beauty about being a software, i.e. an online company, is that you can afford to keep your resources quite lean before you're able to kind of go big. So that's a good thing.
Because mostly, most of the work
a lot of the things are done online.
Online.
Customer support is done online. The entire technology exists online, so you don't need 20,000 people to be able to actually get the work done.
Actually, it becomes redundant. If you
Yes,
have
yes, it's a lot of redundant. Yeah.
Now, you spoke of a need that you noticed in the marketplace, and you said, you know what, there is a need in the marketplace, in the Kenyan market, and that's where I want to go. Tell us about this gap that you wanted to fill.
So the gap we wanted to fill was actually out of experience. Yeah. My co-founder and I were working, or rather just interacting with other businesses, and we realized that every time we helped one of these businesses introduce some sort of paperwork on Excel sheet or on even paper, they were very excited. Even if you just write pay slips on paper, people were very excited, and we were like, wait, there's a problem here. Yeah. If people feel like their lives have changed drastically
because of something
something so small, how about we automate it? And that's how kind of the need was born. So we automated, and then a good thing is was not it's not completely new. These are some things that have been done a lot in in developing countries, and they've become very successful. So we realized we should be able to do this, and we started with the accounting at a very basic level and introduced this to SMEs, kept the pricing very affordable for businesses, also trained a lot of them, because we realized that a lot of them did not have the in-house skill to actually do it. So there was one thing about them not knowing what to do and then how to do it. So we fixed both problems.
Okay,
yes.
okay. So the people have the dream, but they do not know how to go about the dream, especially in matters accounting.
Yes.
Right.
People, especially now, I think the more conversations around funding are becoming more prevalent amongst entrepreneurs. People are looking for funding from banks, MFIs, from investors, and the one thing anyone will ask you is how are your financials. So if you're getting into business, now it's becoming one of those things that you cannot ignore, or you cannot avoid.
If you're going to pitch for your
Yes.
maybe for a loan or for something, for someone to invest into your company, they're going to ask about your financials.
There's no one who will not ask you about your financials.
So you need to have the language.
You need to have the language. You need to have the numbers.
You need to have the numbers.
Yeah.
And over the break, we were mentioning how maybe the education system does not nurture that desire or liking for the people who do not have a natural liking for accounting, for maths. What's their place?
That's a very interesting thing, and I think our education system is not just lacking in terms of accounting and the need, it's just lacking in terms of entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Period. And in entrepreneurship, if you're taking an entrepreneurship class, you cannot not take an accounting class.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then I think one of the things we were talking about is, naturally, a lot of us say we're not good with math, we're not good with accounting, it's not interesting, I don't understand the numbers. But the minute that need is attached to something you really want, i.e. to start and grow a business, then it becomes very important. And then you also realize, so this is another thing I keep telling my customers, the accounting standards don't change. Accounting doesn't change. 1 + 1 will be 1, will be 2. It will never change. So when you learn the basic skills, it doesn't change. It's not like, say, I'm acquiring a market where things keep changing. Once you learn the basics, and we do train our customers that, you learn the basics, then the rest is just adapting as your business grows, not as the market changes.
And the good thing is, and like the past, many of these things are automated now.
Yeah.
So once you know how to put the basic coding, I might use such a word on your software, on your computer, maybe like an SPSS or something, you're good to go.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think it's basic.
Yes.
Now, but I want you to speak to someone who is thinking of starting something, and they have been having some doubts, and what are some basic 3 points that you would say, look, if you want to start your business, keep this thing in mind, these 3 points in mind?
It's interesting. Are we talking about accounting or entrepreneurship? Accounting,
no, and you are an entrepreneur,
okay,
right? And of course, your line is more of accounting.
Yes.
You know, people plus, right?
Yes.
Uhasibu and payroll.africa.
Yeah.
So that was in the line of accounting.
Okay.
Yeah, but I want you to speak from your experience, starting this, the 5 of you starting this organization. What is your experience, and what could be your 3 pointers to someone? There are some basic principles that underlie in a business, whether it's journalism, whatever business you're gonna start. What are the basic 3 pointers that you would like to mention someone who wants to get out of being employed to, self-employment?
Okay, so I'll actually structure them into 2. If you're getting into entrepreneurship and if you're trying to do your books. So I define the difference between an entrepreneur and a businessman. A businessman buys and sells. An entrepreneur actually has to solve a problem. Yeah, that's the one thing you have to do. You have to identify a need and a gap, and then find a way to solve that problem. And don't just stop at a way to solve the problem. Figure out how you're going to make it sustainable. I think that's another loop or a gap that a lot of entrepreneurs within the developing world have done, especially in Kenya. We jump into solving problems without figuring out how we're going to become sustainable. Yeah.
So we just launched blind.
We launched blindly.
I like what you're saying. The difference, the distinction you made immediately, that there's a difference between a business person and an entrepreneur. A business person simply buys and sells.
Yes.
An entrepreneur sees a problem,
Yes.
a need that people
Yes.
want solved,
Yes.
and finds out a way to do it.
Yes.
And now you are speaking about how to sustain that problem solving.
Yes, you have to do, because now at the end of the day we'll end up just starting and then really just plateauing and never growing. If we want to become like all the big other companies in the world, we have to find a way to make it sustainable. You have to find, and then that's going back to identifying a need. There's many needs we have as a country. So how I normally think if I want to start another business is I list down all the problems I'm identifying, and before I even decide to solve one of them, I have to figure out how am I going to make it sustainable. How am I going to get people to actually pay me for it so that I can be able to keep doing? And if I can't figure out a way to do it, or if I do that, it's called the break-even analysis. And if I do my break-even analysis and it looks like I will need to sell 1 million units to even become sustainable, then put that aside and then start small. Start with something that I will need to sell a few units, something within your capability, within your resources, i.e. with yourself you can be able to go to 3, 4, 5 people, be able to get them interested in the idea and actually get them to pay. Then that's one of the problems you start. 2, the power of a good team. The power, I cannot stress enough how important it is to be able to have a good team. And I think I actually even jumped ahead when it comes to the team. And I'll go back to something I had you say before the show started, or before this particular section started. The vision. What's the vision? What do you have as the vision as a leader? How are you communicating it to your team? Because now, if you're able to communicate your vision to your team, then likely chances you're able to build a team. You're able to build a team that trusts you, that has hope. And if you have these 2 things, then you get progress. Otherwise, again, you stagnate. So 3 things: find a problem, figure out how to make it sustainable, have a very clear vision for it, and then build a team surrounding those 3 things.
Wow. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. No? So you are the leader of Plus People.
Yes.
So as a leader, there is a certain vision you've got, and there is a culture you want within your organization, and you've got to set that pace.
Yes.
And I think that old saying, show me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are, goes into business, isn't it?
That's true.
And if you can't, I believe what you're saying, I mean, you can't simply get people to work for you who don't share your vision and who are not aiming for excellence. I think that's the main thing that you are sharing with us.
That's true.
And that's I love what you're saying, and where can people find you, basically, before we close this up? Where can people find Plus People? Where can, social media wise, you have talked about their website, I think, basically. What about Facebook? I don't know, Pinterest or
so on social media, Twitter and Facebook, we are just at Uhasibu or at Payroll or at Mini ERP.
Okay.
Yes.
So if someone wants to look for you, basically at Uhasibu at
Yes.
payroll, they will get you on
Yeah,
Facebook.
they will
and
get
all.
us. They will be able to talk to us,
Uh-huh.
contact us. Yeah. Then our email, obviously, it's support@uhasibu.
So if someone wants to ask
.co.ke.
a few questions, they can actually write to you or call you, and you'll be able to assist
I
them.
would love them to be able to actually get in touch with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think probably I'll be the first one to do that.
Oh, welcome, karibu sana.
Thank you so much. We're gonna have a short break right now. We're gonna come back with a game with Angela Nzioki, but don't forget what she has mentioned. See a need, see how you can solve it, get a vision, and get a great team around you to catch on that vision. Great points. A short break. We're gonna be back.